Hello guys, welcome back to NetKid. So in today's video, we are going to look at signals. What the heck are signals? Signals have been taking all the JavaScript UI libraries by storm recently, and it's no surprise that we've seen that React has had its own implementation of signals. And most of you might not have heard about signals, or you're quite new to the concept and the idea of signals. So in this video, I'm going to take my time to explain what signals are. I'm going to show you how to move from a React code base that was set up with hooks to start using signals, okay? But I'm also going to keep this video as short as possible. So let's dive on into what we have for today. First of all, I have this React project here, and if you've been watching my channel recently, you would be familiar with this. This is the project we've used for the past two videos, I think. Yes, this is the project we've used for the past two videos. And I'm also going to use this project for this video. But first of all, let me just briefly walk you through this project. I'm not going to make a change in all of the pages. I'm only going to make a change in some of the pages. So I want to walk you through those pages that we are going to make that change in. First of all, inside of this SRC folder, we have a bunch of folders and files inside. We have our assets folder, and this is standard for all React applications. Then we have our components folder where we have just three components. We have a footer component, and this is the component for the footer. We have a navbar component, and this is the component for the navbar. Then we have a post component, and this is the component for that post, okay? Now let me close this. Then we have a navigation folder, and this is where we keep things that pertains to navigations. We have this constant.js file, and this is where we just store our screen names. We have our home screen, login, register, post, and contact. Then we have an index file inside of this navigation folder, and this is just our router file, okay? Let me close this navigation folder and go inside of this pages folder. Inside of this pages folder, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 other folders inside, and each folder inside of this pages folder corresponds to a page in our application. But like I said, I'm not going to make a change in all of the pages. I'm only going to make a change in some of the pages. So let me go ahead and show you those pages that we are going to make a change inside. We are going to make a change inside of this home page. Let me open that up, and you can see that this have an index file inside. And now inside this index file inside of this home page, what we do, we just import the navbar. I've showed you the navbar. We import the footer, then we import the post, and all of this is coming from this components folder over here, okay? Now we just have our components, we have the navbar, we have a main, and we have that post component inside of this main element. Then we have the footer, and all of this is wrapped around a section tag, okay? Then we have some basic use states here where we create a post. Then we have the function for updating the post. We run a use effect for getting the post and updating the post, and then we display the post in the UI, right? So this is the traditional way of doing things, but with signals, we don't have to do things like that, okay? Signals make our code more concise, and they allow us to write shorter code. So to get started with signals, the first thing we are going to do is to go ahead and install Signal. Let me first of all connect this. So okay, while that's connected, I'm going to close this terminal. I'm going to open a new terminal, and I'm going to say npm i at react/signals-react, and I'm going to hit enter. So let's wait for that package to get installed, and while that's being installed, okay, that's installed. So now that we've installed these signals, we're going to go ahead and use it. So the first thing we have to do is to import. We have to import signal from react signals react. Now we've imported that, okay. So the next thing we need to do is to create a signal with this signal we've imported. So I'm going to first of all comment this out. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to drag all of this, comment this out. Then I'm going to push this to the top. Yeah. So instead of setting this to be equal to just get post, I'm going to wrap this with a signal. So this is going to be signal. This is just a function that sets a value, and this is just going to be signal. Now we don't need this use effect and use state anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and comment it out too. Yeah, I've done that. I'm going to save this. Now we need to make sure that this is going to give us the value, because all signal have a value property on it, okay? So this is just going to give us the value property. I might as well just console log this signals you see what I'm talking about. Console log post. Okay, now that I've console logged that, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to get the value property. I'm going to say post the value.map, and I'm going to save this, come over here, comment this out, save this. Now let's go back into our code and see if this works, right? This works. So the next thing I'm going to do is to console log this post. So you see the structure of a post, of a signal rather, not a post. I'm going to save this, come open up our terminal, we get console is now a function, because we didn't add the dot log statement to it. So I'm going to add that. Now we get that, and you can see this is what we get back as our signal. You can see we have I, and don't worry about this T, but what we're really concerned is this V attribute, okay? Because this V attribute is what stores our data. Actually, this V attribute is the value attribute. So whenever you have a signal, you want to access the value that is stored inside of that signal, you have to use this value attribute, not V, okay? Remember, in our code, we use post.value. So the value that is stored inside of a signal is stored inside the dot value property on that signal, okay? So now let me go ahead and delete all of this because you're not going to be needing it anymore. And I'm also going to delete this. And you're going to agree with me that our code is looking more concise. We don't have any of that use effect, use statements. We don't have any of that anymore. We're going to go ahead and get rid of this too. But our code is still working fine, right? Let me go ahead and refresh this so you see that page. Okay, open this up here, localhost 5173, and you can see that everything is still working fine. And we can see navigate to a post. Now, I'm also going to show you how to use a signal inside of a component, because if you paid attention, we use the signal inside of this component here. This is not the standard way of doing things, okay? I don't recommend you do things like this. If you want to use a signal inside of a component, you have to import the use signal hook. So I'm going to go ahead and push this out of this component. So it's out of this component. I'm going to save this, and everything is still going to work fine. Go back, refresh, and everything is still going to work fine, like I said. So the next thing we are going to do is to go on to that post detail page, and this is the page that holds the details for a particular post. So I'm going to open it up. I'm going to go to this index file, and now we are going to replace all of this with a signal. So the first thing we have to do is to go ahead and import signal from React signals. Then we don't want to import signal this time. Let's import use signal, okay? Because we want to listen to signal inside of our component. Then I'm going to delete this because we don't need this anymore. Then I'm also going to delete this because we don't need this. I'm going to import that from the helper file. We have a links and we find inside of the helper file. So it's going to be looks. Then I'm going to delete this because I don't need this anymore. I'm now going to say first post is going to be first to a signal, and inside this signal, this is going to be use signal rather. I'm used to using signal. There you're going to say get post, and you're going to pass in that ID param to it. Now we're going to go ahead and delete this because we don't need this anymore. Then I'm going to go ahead and delete this too. Okay, now sharp. So let me save this and let's go back into our component. Now I'm going to go ahead and navigate into a post and see what happens. Oh, I see we don't get back detail. Let's go back into our code and see why. Because we are not accessing the value property on it. So I'm going to highlight every post and I'm going to say post.values. Remember, whenever you're making use of this signal, for you to access the data that is stored inside of that signal, you have to use this value property, okay? Let's save this and let's come here, and you can see that we get back all of that details, okay? That's nice, right? Now, but I wanted to show you one more thing, right? We don't always have to create this signal inside of this component, okay? Because we might have other components, right? That is making use of this post, and it makes no sense for us to be subscribing to this signal inside of every single component. So what we might do is to push this here. We might copy this and put this inside of another file. Then any component that is going to make use of this post can import this signal that has already been created inside of that file and use it inside of the component. So we are sure that whatever component that is making use of this post is sharing a single data source that is coming from that file. Do you understand? So let me go ahead and show you what I mean. We're going to go ahead and open this helper.js file, and you can see that we have some functions for creating a post. We have one for getting all of the posts, this get post here, and it is this get post function that we are calling inside of this signal to get all of the posts, right? So what we are going to do is we're going to come to this is our post. This is the array of posts. We're going to wrap this our array of posts with a signal function. So this post itself becomes an array, becomes a signal rather, okay? Makes sense? So let me go ahead and import signal inside of this file. I'm going to import signal. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to wrap this with that. It's going to be a signal. Then come to the end of it. Here's the end of it. Come all the way down and come here. And I'm also going to, it's also going to be a signal. Wrap that. We've closed that all. Now whenever we are returning this post, we are sure that we are going to return a signal And let me hover on this so you see it. You see that it returns a signal. Although this is not TypeScript, this is JavaScript. We are returning a signal. So I'm going to save this. Let me do the same thing. So I need to come over here and we need to access the value property here. So we can use the find method on it. So that's nice. I'm going to save this. Then now we wrap this with a signal. I'm going to go back inside of here. I'm going to delete this because we don't need this anymore. So this is just going to be equal to get post, right? This is just going to be equal to get post. Actually, I deleted the get post function call. Nice. So let me save this now and let's go back, refresh. I can see that everything still works fine. Now, amazing. Let's go and see a post detail and everything is still working fine. Go back. Now that we've seen how we can create a signal, the next thing I want to show is how to create computed signals. And what the heck are computed signals? Computed signals are signals whose value depend on other signals, okay? Let's say we have now we have this array of posts. We want to create a new variable. We want to get in the length of that array, okay? But we want that number we are going to be getting back as the length of this our post of array to be a signal, such that if our array of posts updates, we want the length to update automatically. You understand what I mean, right? So first of all, let me come over here. Let me make some changes into the UI. I'm going to come under here. I'm going to see this is going to be a div. And inside this div, I'm going to just have some text, and this is going to be saying, this is going to say H3, right? It's going to be all posts, right? This is going to be, I'm going to save this, come here. Let's go up and see how that looks like. You see all posts. Actually, let me bring it inside. I think it makes sense to bring it inside, right? Bring it inside. Let's see. Let me see how that looks like. It's looking much better now. All posts. So up here, we're going to output the number of posts, but we want the number of posts to be its own signal. So that's going to happen. This is what we are going to do. We're going to go here and I'm going to export const. We are going to create a new function that's going to return that signal for us. And this is going to be post length, right? And this is going to equal to this will be equal to the function, and inside this function, actually I used two double arrows. Let me delete that. Inside this function, we are just going to return a signal, right? And inside of the signal, we're going to say post dot value dot length. Okay, so this is the computed signal, and we can't change the value of this. The value of this length is only going to be readable. Okay, we are not going to be able to change it. But the benefit of this approach is that whenever the length of this post change, this post length is also going to be recalculated automatically. So let's go inside of our component and use this post length. Let's import it from this helper file. This is going to be post length, right? Let's say this, and this is just going to be, and we can just use this in our component, and React is just going to extract that value from that signal. Okay, we actually use this is a function actually, not component. Okay, post length dot value. Save that. See, get an error. And why are we getting an error? Cannot set properties of undefined v, and that's because probably we didn't save that file. Let me go here. I save this. Oh, this is where our error was coming from. We used the signal class. This is not what we want. We want this. Save this. I'm going to go ahead and delete because this is not what we want. That's why we're getting that error. I'm going to refresh this file, and you see that we get all posts is 6. Now this is the computer signal. What I'm going to do to show you how this works is I'm going to simulate adding a new post to the post array, such that whenever this button is pressed, a new post is going to be added to the post array. So let me go ahead and do that. First of all, let me copy a post from this because I don't have a time to start creating that. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to come inside of here, and I'm just going to say post is speak petrol post. I'm going to change the name of this to introduction to, let's say, C#, right? This is going to be click 21. It's going to be C#, and this is going to be by John Doe, right? Let me delete this column. Now, we are going to just add this post to this post. We're going to add this post now to the posts array, right? So let me go ahead and create a function for adding that. But first of all, before we do that, we need to go back into this our helper file and define a helper function that's going to allow us to modify this post array to add a new post inside. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new function, and this function is going to be named add post, and this is just going to taking a post, and it's going to be an arrow function that is going to set the post dot value, right, to be equal to the post. Then we want to spread out the other posts that are stored in the post dot value, right? This is just our function for adding posts. I'm going to save this, come back into our index file, and we're going to take a new function. This is going to be first we make post, and this is going to take a post, and it's going to just return add post. I automatically imported that from the header file, so this is going to just accept the post. Then I'm going to come here, I'm going to add an onClick to this div. This is going to be onClick. So anytime we click this, we want to add a new post. We want to do make post with that post. This is going to pass in this post here, right? This post is going to be passed to this make post function here that calls this add post. And you're going to see that this post length is going to update automatically. So let me go ahead and save this. Come over here, refresh. So I'm going to go ahead and click this and watch what happens. You can see that a new post has been added and the UI has been updated automatically for us. You don't need to write any code to do that. And you can see that the length of this post has also changed. So you get an idea of how useful signals are. So let's see how we can run effects in our code, okay? Now we've gotten rid of our use effects. We are asking ourselves a question: how can we run side effects in our components? So Preact Signals React, okay? Preact Signals React, that's the name of the library, provides us with a way for us to run effects in our components, okay? There's the effect that we can import from the library that allow us to run effects. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to import effect from Preact Signals React. So now I've done that, I'm going to say effect. I'm going to just say it's going to take an anonymous function, right? So this is going to be, let's say, I'll just say on console.log post value, right? Let me save that. Fresh. Okay, cannot read from the find or 0. However, what we just log, okay, we save posts, not posts. Fix that, save, let's refresh, and you see we get back this. So whenever this changes, and let me go ahead and let me just hit this button so we add a new post and see what happens when we do that. You can see that this effect has run again, okay? Because you can observe that the first post changed, right? That's how we run effects in our code when working with signals, okay? You just use this effect function that you import from this Preact Signals React. And one beautiful thing about this effect function is, if you observe, we didn't have to pass in any array of dependencies, okay? Because we don't need to do that. The signal library by default is going to handle that under the hood for us. So all we just need to do is to go ahead and use our own layer abstraction, okay? You understand what I mean? So that's just about it, okay? So I hope you found this video interesting, and I'm also going to suggest that you go ahead and you visit the Preact documentation so you understand what you can use signals for. In this video, I just barely touched the surface of what signals are and how we can use signals. I 100% suggest that you visit that website and then you read more about signals so you know how you can use them in your own code to improve your overall code quality. Thank you for your time, and I will see you in the next one, guys.